Hey guys, it's David here. I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute little adorable gnome using all Dollar Tree products. This is super simple. We're going to need one of these little Santa ornaments. We're mainly going to be using the fur and possibly the stuffing inside of here from him. We're also going to need one of the little elves. We're going to be using the arms and the legs off of the elf, and then the stuffing inside of this little elf. We're also going to need a sock for the body of the gnome, using like this half for the body and then this part for the hat. The first thing I'm going to do here is go ahead and cut off the arms, and I'm going to follow this angle. We'll just do that on both of the sides, and then you can actually put, like, line the little hands up and everything. That way it's even. And then those look pretty even. Now we can actually pry this guy open, and you can just pry it apart, take some of that stuffing out of here, because we're going to be using the stuffing from in the elf. I'm just going to take all of it out because we're going to use it. So I'm going to set this piece over to the side. So now we have all this stuffing. I mean, you can go ahead and just put some stuffing into your little arms. We're not going to overstuff these, so I just kind of push it down to the hand and then work a little bit more in there. And if you can't, for some reason, get your fingers down inside of there, you can always just use like the tip of your scissors to push down like some of the stuffing. Honey, what's going on? I don't understand you. I really wish that I did. Can you not see I'm recording right now? I don't understand. The light's on. I think that actually feels a bit better. We don't want it overstuffed because we want to be able to glue the end, this last part. But this arm seems a bit overstuffed. Take some of that out. And then we can stuff the legs. We want to really get it down at the very bottom into the foot. And again, we don't need to overstuff this. We want it a little bit loose, just so they're like the legs and arms are able to kind of dangle and not be so stiff. So you can see how that's able to like bend. That's probably good. Okay, so I'll just like squeeze it and move the stuffing around in there how you like it. Now that those are done, we have all this other stuffing, and I'm now going to work on the body. So again, you can do this however like steps you want to do it, but this is how I'm doing it. So what I like to do is take some paper towel, I like to fold it in half, and you can do whatever you want to do for this step. I'm going to turn the sock inside out, then stick my hand all the way down so I have this green part in my fingers, like this. Grab the paper towel, flip the sock inside out. Now we have a little just like area right here. I'm able to put whatever I'm gonna put, and I'm gonna use this little cup and fill it with little teeny pebbles or rocks. So here's my little rocks. I just pour a little bit in at a time and then use my thumbs and push it down in. And I'm doing it this way because these rocks are actually really dirty, and you could rinse your rocks off beforehand, but some of them are really small and they might slip through the actual sock. The paper towel will really hold the rocks in place. Okay, so we have all of our rocks, and then I like to just ball this up like this. Kind of bounce this around, make sure that the green is on the bottom, and shape it with my hand. And then we'll take the stuffing and I'm going to push it around the paper towel. all the way around. So right now I'm just using my hand and I'm pushing that stuffing around the paper towel so the paper towel is in the middle and you won't see it or feel it on the outside. Like when you touch it, it has a little bit of weight to the bottom and then some stuffing around, and it just like overall looks kind of professional. I mean, you don't really notice any paper towel in there. Okay, once you get it how you want it, so that looks, you know, a little bit too round in some areas, so I need to push this. So you can kind of just roll him out, you know, just shape him how you want. All right. Now I'm just going to take a little rubber band and tie this off. If you don't have a rubber band, you can always use some twine. So literally you'll just take the twine, find the spot you want, and then tie a knot. Couple knots here. Then I like to flip it over and do the same over here, just so I know this thing is not going to come undone. Then you can cut off your excess twine, and then we're actually going to cut this off as well. And I like to pull this so it goes down further. And we'll just cut it right here. Then we'll take some hot glue and just glue this piece down. Okay, so the next step into making our cute little gnome is going to be putting on the beard of the gnome, and that's where the Santa Claus comes into play. So basically we'll just work on peeling these pieces off of the beard. Now you can go in like this, one by one, and just kind of cut the little piece out, just like this. Or just try and peel all of the beard off at once, like that. So we can take this entire thing apart, just like that, and then we can save this for a different project if we want to. We can use the glasses for our gnome if you want. We also have the hat, which is another option to go ahead and use. I'm just focusing on taking the beard piece off right now. So right here's the hat we can use. It does have a little wire inside, so you're able to bend this around, which we will be adding wire to our pieces over here. Once we get enough of these pieces pulled apart, so here is like a little string that is wrapped around all of this yarn. We want to take this out. Then you're left with this fluff, and you can kind of pull it apart a little bit, and this is to like straight cut, like a blunt cut. We want to pull these apart like this and then put them together. And this is the start of our beard. So we'll do that with all these pieces so we don't have any bluntness. So here's a piece. We want to take that, put it up here. Okay, and then just add it to our pile. This will be the top piece that we glue down onto the gnome. And then this will be the bottom pieces that hang. So I went ahead and got a bunch of this already ready. And what I'll want to do is organize all of these pieces where we want to do a layer of long pieces and then a shorter layer over top. So as you can see, these pieces are a little bit shorter. Those will go on the top. This one's a bit longer, so this can actually go ahead and go straight down onto. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue this long piece here. And then once it's on there, you don't want to like sit here and pull at it or anything. You want to just keep going to the next piece, because you could accidentally sit here and pull the whole thing apart, which we don't really want to do that, obviously.
Get off of me.
So we'll basically just keep working our way down the gnome. As we get to the edges, we want to do a little bit shorter of a piece on the edges. And you could do like a chunk at a time if you want. Like, I think I'll just go ahead and glue all of this down. So I'll just do a glob of hot glue. And you want to be careful not to burn yourself. Now I like to put the beard up around about halfway. Ouch, burned myself. And then as I'm over here, it's gonna get shorter, like I said. So we wanna start adding some short pieces. And I try not to go past this point. About halfway is pretty good because we still have to add our arms on here. Okay, so that's gonna be like the first layer. And if you want this to look longer, then you can make the body actually shorter. So if you push this down, then it's gonna go past beyond. So now I'm gonna add another layer of the hair, kind of following this shape. So the top layer is just gonna have like, just little pieces like this. So we have a little bit of longer and then shorter, so it looks like we have a little bit of layering going on, you know what I'm saying? So these are a little bit shorter pieces. Those will look good on top. Basically, I'm trying to get the beard pretty full so I don't see any more of the red shining through here. So you can always move it around. Here, we can just like take it and fluff it like this. But we don't want to mess with it too much because then we'll start to ruin the fur. So I think that's looking pretty cute. This is what the side looks like. It kind of just staggers down a little bit. And then I'll just save this for a future one. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is glue on the little nose. I have a bunch of these little wooden beads. You can use something from Dollar Tree if you find it. You can always use a little pom-pom. They sell them there. You can use this pom-pom right off the Santa, but it is white, so white on white, it's less noticeable. So you might have to take some nylon, like pantyhose, stretch it over it, and tie it off with the rubber band, and then glue that on. But I'm gonna use this little bead because I like the bead. I basically want I want the sides of the bead to be on the sides as his nostrils. So I'm gonna put my fingers like that and put glue here. And we'll find the middle and just kind of press it into the piece like this. And you can separate the yarn like out a little bit and then press it in there, or just stick it right on top like this. The next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna lay him on his side. We're gonna attach one of the arms, making sure that the way it's facing, like how it would look on a human. So this is his left arm. So we want like the thumb facing this way, because if I had it like this, it looks backwards. So it needs to be facing forward. And I'm gonna put, before I glue it down, a little bit of wire. This is 18 gauge wire. I like to measure from here to here and then bend it. Then I'll take some scissors or the wire cutters, cut it, and then I'm gonna twist this so we have a little like loop, I guess, on the end. And then we'll twist the rest just pretty randomly. And once I'm happy with it, I'll take this piece, turn it inwards like that. We can shove this down in there, and then we're gonna glue this down. We'll put a little bit of hot glue and press the piece of wire, and then I'll just go ahead and do the other arm. This takes literally a couple seconds to add in, and I think it's worth it because then you'll have bendable arms and legs. But you don't have to do this step, it's totally optional. Just have the arms and legs hanging if you want, but just adding this little bit of wire takes a couple seconds and it's definitely worth it in the end, I think. The feet, I'm not going to worry about the feet. It's mainly the leg, so. Okay, now we can go ahead and attach our little arms. So I like to do the arms pretty much right up here close to the beard line. So we have it on both sides. Now the beard's gonna kind of overlap just a little bit. And I like to put the glue all the way in the inside here, like this. But you guys can do it however you feel is necessary. So I'm gonna just hold it upwards like this and push it in. Once it's dry, we can push it down with the wire. But that way, like if you have his arm up for some reason, you can see it looks pretty attached. Some people like to lay it flat and just glue it like that, flat. All right, that's gonna go ahead and start drying. Now I'm gonna do this one. I'm also doing this pretty close to the top because once we put the hat on, it's gonna cover up any little mistakes on the top part of our little arms. Starting to come together. But yeah, his arms look a little bit wide, but that's okay. And we'll lift all this hair up out of our way, and we can kind of work on the bottom piece here and add our legs. And I just kind of line where the nose is and then put it on one side of the nose. I put the legs pretty close together. You'll see in a second here. And all of this part's optional. I'm just obviously showing you guys. So that's how close I'm gonna put my legs together. And then when this is done drying, we can bend them how we want and then move the hair right over it, and you won't really see any mistakes because the hair will cover it. So if it doesn't look the best, don't worry. But you obviously want the feet to face upwards. Make sure you do that. Then we can start pulling like the hair down. I think I'm gonna move this leg a tad bit. I just don't think it looks proportioned right. There, that looks a little better. All right, he's looking cute so far. Almost done with her gnome. Then we're gonna do this piece here. This is a little tricky, so you're just gonna have to bear with me and watch what I do. Basically, we're gonna tuck this inwards. We're gonna roll it twice, so I wanna make sure when I roll it, it covers the cats. So we took a bit in there. You can see this red piece is down further in. And I'm gonna go like this much from the cat ears. So we'll just keep pushing it inwards until we get it to about there. That looks pretty good, I think. Then we can flip this outwards like this. We don't want any weird lumps because you'll be able to see them. And then we'll flip it one more time, and that will cover the cats. And I like to put a little bit of hot glue down so that it stays in place. You don't want to glue the whole thing because we're about to stretch it over the head here. So I will just kind of make sure that glue is stuck and pull this apart as I'm pushing on the glue. Then for the top part, all I'm going to do is just take my scissors, and we want to just cut this at an angle. We want to leave the green. So really, we just need to cut right here. So I'm going to turn this piece, the section, inside out. Very carefully, not turning this inside out. Now you can do this part first if that's more convenient, but this is how I'm doing it. So I'm not turning that inside out. Then I'm going to glue this together. Now we could use, again, this pom-pom to add on the top of this hat if you want to, but I have bigger pom-poms that I want to use for the project. It's totally preference. I like these big, huge white ones. I got this from Hobby Lobby, a pack of 24 of them for $2. Once this is dry, we can turn it inside out. And here's where, if you have any extra pieces of hair or the yarn here, or maybe like this piece here. I actually have some inside of here that we can use. I'm gonna take all of this out. And then while that's drying, I'm gonna go ahead and make my piece of wire. So it's gonna be about this big. And we're just following the same steps as we did for the arms and legs for the hat. This should be about dry. And we can flip it back. And then because we had stuffed this outer section of the sock in there, it's gonna actually hold up pretty well on its own. As you can see, because it has a thick base. And then this piece is a little floppy, and I love that. It looks really good. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the stuffing in there. And I'm just gonna put that just for a little bit extra of support, or if you touch it, it's like has some texture to it. So I'm gonna put a little bit up here. There we go, just so it's like a little bit. We don't need too much. Then we'll take the wire, push that up in there. And again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm gonna glue it to one side. And it doesn't matter where. Just pop in some glue. Put the wire straight into it. So I just spread all these pieces apart. Put the glue in. Take the tip of it and shove it like that. And then press the pom-pom around it. Alright, that's pretty good. It's pretty much dry. And then you can glue this on like this way. You could do it forwards because there's like this little line here. I try to get that towards the back, but this hangs forward. So to me it's okay because I'll just push this forward like that. So it slouches a little bit forwards like this. Putting a little bit in the inside. And we're going to focus that right here. Make sure that the nose is slightly covered. And then we're covering up that top part of the beard. But you really want to make sure that it dries each time before moving on. You don't want to rush this because it'll start to pull the hairs and everything. So on this side, put it down just over the arm here. And then once this side's dry, then you go to this side next. So I'm really just stretching that exactly where I want it. Okay, and then we have just the back side to do here. Okay, our gnome is pretty much complete. At this point, you can add whatever you want to add to it, like maybe some bells or something, bells and whistles, ornaments, however you want to further decorate him, but he's pretty much done. This is like the whole piece. He looks so cute, and then I'll show you with him on a shelf.